be saying hello and blessing you all. I forgot to gear up. So we'll take care of that in a moment. But in the meantime, I have today's reading from our book of the month, Daring Greatly. I am reading from page something or other, page 67. Is that me?
It's me.
Oh, okay. So Brene Brown begins on page 67 by saying, "My good friend and colleague, Robert Hilliker, says, shame started as a two-person experience. But as I got older, I learned how to do shame all by myself. Sometimes when we dare to walk into the arena, the greatest critic we face is ourselves. Shame derives its power from being unspeakable. That's why it loves perfectionists. It's so easy to keep us quiet. If we cultivate enough awareness about shame to name it and speak to it, we've basically cut it off at the knees. Shame hates having words wrapped around it. If we speak shame, it begins to wither. Language and story bring light to shame and destroy it. Just like Roosevelt advised, when we dare greatly, we will err, and we will come up short again and again. There will be failures and mistakes and criticism. If we want to be able to move through the difficult disappointments, the hurt feelings and the heartbreaks that are inevitable in a fully lived life, we cannot equate defeat with being unworthy of love, belonging, and joy. If we do, we will never show up and try again. Shame hangs out in the parking lot of the arena, waiting for us to come out defeated and determined to never take risks. It laughs and says, "I told you that was a mistake. I knew you weren't blank enough." Shame resilience is the ability to say, "This hurts. This is disappointing, maybe even devastating. But success and recognition and approval are not the values that drive me. My value is courage, and I was just courageous." You can move on, shame. Let's find out. It stopped. I'm moving to the handheld. All right, I'm going to read through the affirmation once, and then I will invite you to join me. It goes like this: I lay aside all fear and step confidently into a deep and abiding peace. I am willing to change. As I trust that God is good and life is for me, I am transformed, and so it is. Please stand and join me with conviction. I lay aside all fear and confidently into a deep and abiding peace. I am willing to change as I trust that God is good and life is for me. I am transformed, and so it is. Do you become... While I was listening to that music, I couldn't help but think, do you become that amazing a singer or that brilliant a cellist without taking some risk? Without being willing to stand in front of people and say, this is what I got. I'm going to show it off. And some people might go, please. And then what do? Thank you for your opinion. And never mind. I stand in my greatness. I stand in the truth of who I am and the gifts I've been given, and I let those gifts shine forth. And my Self-worth does not depend on your opinion of my talents and my skills and how I express those in the world. Yeah? Or, have you ever had one of these moments? Oh my God, you didn't like it? Am I okay? What? Has that ever happened to you? Now, I just have to do a little note here that if you want to hear Clayton a little more, you can hear him with Seattle Opera this summer in Rigoletto. Like, how cool is that? And he belongs to us. He's ours. He's ours, you guys. Like, how cool is that? I'm thrilled to know that. And I'm also thrilled that we are filled with gifts in this room. Yes, Clayton is an opera singer, but what do you do well? I like to sew. I'm really good at that. I like to give sermons. I'm pretty good at that sometimes, too. We all have our gifts, and we express those gifts in the world, or we don't. Yes? Do you have any gifts that are just waiting to be expressed as you, that perhaps fear is holding you back? Have you ever been thinking, oh, I'm going to express this gift, and then somebody says to you, oh, get real? Does that ever happen? I mean, here's the interesting thing about get real. What does it really mean? What does it really mean? It's kind of it's like take a reality check, isn't it? Now, we can use that phrase, take a reality check, get real, in a couple of different ways. One of the ways that we can use it is, yeah, you know what, I need to check in, and I need to assess. And I need to know what's mine to do, and what is the situation here, and how can I best express my best life in these conditions. Get real, take a reality check. Okay, yeah, let's take a check and kind of see where we're at. The other way it's used is to smash our dreams. Yes? Oh, get real. That's never going to happen. Has anybody ever said that to you? Have you ever said that to anyone? And perhaps not even with the intent to smash their dreams. But that's what happened, maybe. I'd like us to get a new thought about this phrase, get real. And to think about, what does that really mean? Perhaps get real means re-anchor in the truth of who and whose you are. Re-anchor in the spiritual truth of you and this life experience you are living here in the human realm. Re-anchor in truth. And I don't mean truth like, it's raining or it's not raining. I mean truth like capital T truth. The principles of truth that are the same everywhere you go in the universe. And what is the truth of you? What is the truth of all creation? Perfect, whole, complete. Created in the image and likeness of the infinite. Creative in the way that it is creative. Made of God's stuff. What? Are you sure? Yeah, that's your reality check, people. And I don't know about you, sometimes when I do a reality check, I kind of get anchored in the idea of, well, it's really about, I don't have enough money to do what I love, or, I don't have enough time to spend time with people that I love. I don't have this, I don't have that. None of those things are real. Those are temporary conditions, but that by the power of your creative faculty, you can shift if you wish. That's what's real. The conditions are all temporary. We can shift every condition in our lives because we are possessed of the creative power of the infinite. We are created in its image and likeness. Are we willing to get real and embody that which is already so? See, it's just about saying yes to something that already is. Sometimes we think the spiritual path is about making stuff happen, right? You ever been there? Oh, if I could just. No, it's not about making anything happen. It's about, as Emerson progress inside getting our bloated nothingness out of the way so that something can express as us. I love that phrase. I'm full of bloated nothingness sometimes. How about you? But if I can get real, get authentic, get genuine, perhaps I can step into the spirit of transformation, which is our theme this month. We are talking about the spirit of transformation. How do we transform not just our lives, but by the power of transforming our individual lives, transform the world so that we live in a world that works for everybody, not just me and my neighbors and the people I like, but a world that works for everyone. We must renew our minds in the spiritual truth so that we can be transformed. Ready for a little transformation? Who's ready? You want to go? You want to get on that bus? I want to be transformed. And you know, I love it when people say, no, my life is good enough. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But you're not done until everybody's life is good enough. Because if your life is good enough, now you have a new assignment. Be about supporting everybody in having a life that is good enough. Amen. So be transformed enough to think you could be a key for transformation for others. How cool is that? And so the method, the theme that we're using this month, the book of the month is by Brene Brown, the Daring Greatly book. And I chose this for In the Spirit of Transformation because of her theme around wholehearted living. She calls it wholehearted living. She defines it as engaging in life from our worthiness, no matter what gets done or is left undone, no matter what anybody says, I am enough. I am worthy. And that is wholehearted living, having the courage and the compassion for myself and for others to step forward boldly into the divine expression that I am meant to be. Knowing that I am enough. I am not at the effect of any conditions, because the spiritual truth of me is that I am a creative power. The spiritual truth of me is I am God stuff. I am good stuff. So I am not at the effect of any condition, any circumstance, any pain. I am enough right where I am. And so by totally embracing that, and imagine how your life might be transformed if you were able to quit blaming yourself and beating yourself up. How much energy are you going to free up if you stop thinking in your head how bad you are? Or how much you don't have? Or how much you'll never be able to do because of your circumstance? And so we're talking about transforming our minds, renewing our minds into a new idea of enough so that we can engage in wholehearted living, take risks, live the gifts that, so dearly want to express as us, the gifts that we've been given by the infinite. Get real. The spiritual truth of you, and I've been studying up on this. In the beginning, formless and void, and the Elohim, God, and God said, let there be. And there was creation. Now here's what I've learned recently about this. The Hebrew word in the beginning, it's actually not in the beginning, it's in beginning. It's a slight difference, but it's in beginning. Do you know why that's important? We're always beginning. Did you have a tough morning? In beginning. Begin again. Begin again. Begin again. Did you forget? Did you beat yourself up a little bit? And then you beat yourself up for beating yourself up? Stop that. In beginning. Re-begin. In beginning. The Hebrew word is barashit. And there is a context for the Hebrew Hebrew word barashit, that is in consciousness. In consciousness. In beginning, in consciousness. The Elohim. Elohim is an interesting Hebrew word. I only knew this in the last week or so, and I've used that word a lot. I learned recently that Elohim is plural. What? Now, I don't know about you. The way I was raised, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? Like God, some singular guy sitting in a chair in heaven, picked up some clay or something, I don't know what my little mind thought, and this one thing, this one person, this one entity, Elohim, it's plural. The gods. And I was so struck by that because do you remember in the Psalms where it says, don't you know that you are gods? It's the same word. Don't you know that you are Elohim? Don't you know that you are, you guys, can I shake you? Don't you know that ye are gods, that ye are Elohim? It's the same word used in beginning, in consciousness. The gods created the heavens and the earth. And then it goes on to say, and we are created in the image and likeness of this Elohim, these Elohim. And interestingly enough, I don't know about you guys, but the story about where Adam is created, right? It's such an interesting thing, and it's even in the English translation. This isn't just in the Hebrew or the Greek or any of those. It's not. What it says is, male and female, He created Adam. God created Adam. Adamah. It means earth being. Adamah is not a guy's name. Adamah, Ma is earth. Adam is being, earth being. Adamah. Male and female, He created them. Do you see? Adam was male and female. So, Elohim, female, Elohim, male, Elohim, whatever's in between, because sometimes I just don't know. But do you see, it takes both the masculine and the feminine to be a fully orbed being. In consciousness, Barashit, in consciousness. The consciousness, the mind of God moved upon the face and created us in its image and likeness, and we are of it. And we are perfect, whole, complete beings right here and right now. And because of this, we create our experience of life. What? Yes, we do. It's the good news and the bad news. How well do you like what you've created? Are you ready to do something different? Sometimes we need a big transformation. Sometimes it's a tiny shift. Are we ready to create something different? Are we ready to do something different that makes our lives better and the world a better place for all? You see, we forget to be real, don't we? And it's this thing called shame. And in our reading today, the man that she was quoting said, it used to be a two-person thing, right? Someone shamed me, and I bought into the story. And all the people who ever shamed us, they meant well. Just don't waste any more energy holding it against them. Just forgive them and move on, because you have bigger fish to fry, okay? But then he went on to say in that reading, but it's okay, soon it became an individual and inside job, right? We shame ourselves all the time, and it is our shame that keeps us stuck back here, where we don't even want to admit that we are created in the image and likeness of anything good. We don't want to get real, get authentic. I want to read to you Brene Brown's definition of shame. I'm reading from page 69. She says, shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love or belonging. I'm going to read it again, because we've all got this condition to some degree. Shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love or belonging. And it's painful to feel shame, isn't it? Now, I learned last year that the Old Norse word for shame, which I cannot pronounce, literally means cheek redness. Cheek redness. And you know what's interesting to me about that is we really can't hide our shame, can we? Like when you're feeling shame or embarrassed, what happens? Your cheeks turn red and everybody knows you're embarrassed, right? Has that ever happened to you? Patty, can I share this? When Patty gets embarrassed and she turns red, she has a group of friends who say, "Oh my, what a pretty shade of Patty." Sorry, honey, it just came to mind. See, we can't hide our shame or our embarrassment, right? And even if our cheeks aren't turning red, something is going sideways if we are allowing our unworthiness to drive us. Maybe for you it's anger. Maybe you get angry. Maybe you lash out at others. Maybe you make other people wrong. That's because of shame. Maybe you're just quietly judgmental. Maybe you're just in your mind always going on about what everybody else is doing wrong, how they're not dressed right, or they don't measure up, or they don't talk right, or they don't say the right things, or they're too old, or they're too young. That's shame speaking. Maybe for you, you overeat rather than feel the pain of your shame. Maybe you drive fast cars. Whatever it is. And none of these things in and of itself is wrong. Eating isn't wrong. Discernment and good judgment are not wrong. It's when we do it from that unhealthy place, that painful place of unloving ourselves and pushing others away because we just cannot take the risk that they might see us, that they might see the real me, the real human me that is ashamed and scared and doesn't know what to do. So I'll just go hide over here and not live my full life, not express my divine gifts. It's safer over here. Yes? But then you don't get to have a great career as an opera singer or a minister or whatever it is that you're called to be. So how do we move beyond our shame into that full expression of our divinity? How do we get real in both the spiritual sense and in the human sense? We gotta become willing to be real. We gotta be willing to have red cheeks. I don't know about you, I get red cheeked. I want to run away and hide because I don't want anybody to see that. Yeah? But we must become willing to be red-cheeked in ways that are constructive and life-affirming. We must be willing and have the courage to take risks, to reach out, to get support, to ask for what we need, to tell our stories. She goes on at length in the book about finding safe and appropriate ways to tell our story so that we can release the energy of the shame that has been binding us to hiding, or however it is we deal. There's something we talked about in the financial freedom class last summer that Reverend Marcia Sutton teaches. She says that awareness is curative. Awareness is curative. Now, when I'm back here withdrawing and hiding from my shame, I'm covering it up, right? I'm pretending I don't see it. And so it will never cure. It will never be cured. But if I'm willing to become aware of it, oh, this is what's driving me. This is why I get angry. This is why I overeat. This is why I blah, 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 whatever it is. This is why I withdraw. This is why I judge others. Then we start to shine the light of truth. Shine the light, we begin to get real. What is the spiritual truth of me? Perfect, whole, and complete, created in the image and likeness of the infinite, in consciousness. Did you hear that part? It starts in consciousness. So many times I want the world to change and then I'll change. I must change in beginning, in consciousness. Elohim said, let there be. And I must say, in consciousness, beginning every single day, sometimes every single moment of my life, let there be peace in my heart. Let there be love in my life. Let me be free of judgment. Let me be free of anger. Let me remember the truth of who I am. Let me anchor in the infinite presence and allow that to guide and direct my every step. I must know the spiritual truth, be willing to be with the pain, find safe and appropriate places to tell my story, and all else is added unto me. And it's a process, right? We talked about this last week. This wholehearted living, it's a journey. We don't get there. Maybe we do. I don't know. I'm not there yet. If you're there, let me know, because I'll ride on your coattails. But allowing our hearts and our minds to be open to the spiritual truth of ourselves, to live courageously, to live with passion and compassion, to have the courage to connect with others and allow ourselves to be truly seen. This is the little stew that will give us a life of meaning and allow us to express more fully the spiritual truth of ourselves. So get real. Get real. Eric Butterworth said, if there's anything you need in your life, you don't really need that. What you need is more God. If you think you need money, you don't really need money, you need more God. If you think you need time, you don't need time, you need more God. Why? Because all things are within the infinite mind and heart of God. And so as we seek first that kingdom, as we say yes to God first, there's plenty of time in God. There's plenty of money in God. There's plenty of love in God. Down here in the realm of my condition, it might look, but am I willing to get real and recognize the spiritual truth that is, the infinite is right where I am. And as I open the door to that truth, all else is added unto me. I already have all that I need. It's right where I am. I simply open my heart and mind to it. I engage with courage and compassion in the world, and I allow myself to be connected to others who are also on the conscious spiritual path, who know that they are worthy, who are willing to live with the pain of shame, open their hearts more fully to it, and step into that wholehearted living with courage and vulnerability, allowing the truth to be known as them. And so let's seal this message. Take the sacred breath with me. Breathe deeply here. I am worthy. I am enough. There is nothing unlike the infinite nature of the divine. And this infinite nature is oh so good. This infinite nature is love, it is grace, it is power. This infinite nature is right where I am. It is at the core and the center of me, and every cell in my body is alive with it. And as I breathe, I know the spiritual truth of myself. In consciousness, I know the truth. God is good. This infinite life is my source. It abides at the core and the center of me. Oh, do I not know I am a God? Yes, indeed, the Elohim, the infinite, right where I am. Just hear these words and allow them to sink into your conscious awareness of the truth. As you feel your body come alive, you feel your heart say yes, you feel your mind open. I am enough and more than enough, for I am created in the image and likeness of this infinite heart and mind of God. And this awareness just permeates every nook and cranny and corner of your being, and you see yourself stepping forth in confidence, in love, and in grace, transcending anything that would seem to be in your way, simply allowing the presence to guide and lift and inspire you every step. And so I do give thanks. I give thanks for the power of the spiritual truth to lift and heal and guide. I give thanks for the vehicle of daring greatly in the teachings of Brene Brown to lift us more fully into this truth. I give thanks that we are called to this greater beingness, and we simply say yes. In a word, I call it good, and I let it be, and so it is. Amen.